Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. Hey there, folks. My name is Brad Varnell. If this is your first time listening to the YouTube channel, I am glad that you picked today to be here. Guys, it is December 1st, I believe. Yeah, December 1st. We've got 1 month of 2025 today left. And my goal over the next little while is to help you have the best 2026 that you could possibly have. If you take some of the strategies, the separation season, the 90-day game plan that we're going to talk about, really take it to heart and implement what we talk about today, I believe you can set yourself up for more success in 2026 than 99% of the population. Guys, right now, the average person is falling asleep. They're hibernating. They are thinking to themselves, hey, I'll start doing this January 1st. I'll start doing this January 1st. I'm going to, they're lethargic from Thanksgiving. And even though December 25th, Christmas is 25 days away, that's what they're focused on. And the average person is probably the least productive in the month of December. But that ain't going to be us, guys. That ain't going to be us. So stick around with me today, and I hope that you get some incredible value out of what we're going to talk about. In the meantime and between time, for all of my loyal fans out there that are on here today, I see all of you, Eric and Vanish and Dave and Daniel, and I hope I'm not missing anybody. I want to say thank you for all of your prayers. If you can't tell, I'm back in Colorado. So I know last week I told you guys that it was probably going to be January before my wife and I were back in Colorado, but sometimes life can take some twists and turns. And so we had an opportunity last week on Wednesday. We called the clinic that we're going to in Colorado and discussed a couple of options. And it turned out that everything just lined up perfect for my wife and I to have a doctor's appointment here in Colorado on Friday to see if her body was ready to have the eggs implanted into her. Long story short, she didn't want to miss Thanksgiving at her mom's house in Las Vegas. So we woke up early Thursday morning, drove a couple of hours out to Las Vegas, spent some time with her mom and her sisters and her family, had a nice Thanksgiving dinner, even though it was more like about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then she got me talked into, we drove 13 and a half hours to Colorado on Thanksgiving, got here to Colorado at about 5 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, had our doctor's appointment at about 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning, and everything was looking good. So we have another doctor's appointment on Thursday, and then we'll find out. She's taking medicine and doing everything she needs to do this week. We'll go in on Thursday morning, and hopefully they're going to tell us that she is ready. And sometime in the next week, we will have done the whole process. And then it's just a matter of waiting about a week or so, week to 2 weeks, and then taking the pregnancy test to see if everything took. So long story short, guys, I'm here in Colorado, been here since Friday morning, and probably going to be here until somewhere around the 10th to 15th of December, depending on how long the rest of this process takes. But I'm super, super excited about that. Everything is just going so smooth. And I really believe that it's because all of you guys are praying for us and keeping us in your hearts. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So I hope you all had an amazing, amazing, amazing Thanksgiving also. And, yeah, so here we are. Excited to be here. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Let's jump into something here really fast. So I know I said this last week too. Probably should just make it a blanket statement, but this is another great week to take some notes. guys, if you're in a position to write some stuff down, I believe that this would be a great one to write some stuff down so that you can look back over it over the next month and even as next year progresses. So as I mentioned early in the video, we're going to talk a little bit about separation season, but to start with, I want to share a philosophy with you guys. I don't even know if it's a philosophy as much as a strategy that a lot of people don't think about. So let me just get right into it. Let's just say that right now, everything is going great for you. Everything's clicking. All signs are go. You're having success. You're doing well. Life is good. And then let's say on the flip side, that maybe that's not the case. Maybe you're not doing so great. Maybe you're not as healthy as you would like to be. Maybe the money situation isn't where you would like for it to be. I want you guys to understand and conceptualize something. The positive things that you do in your life that get you to the success that you want to be at, those normally take, I'm screwing this up. I think I'm messing this up. Let me start over here real quick. So I want to do this a little bit backwards. If you're not having the success that you want in life, normally people don't really think about this or see the truth in it until they've been exposed to it. Normally, if things aren't going the way that you want them to go, you can normally go back 90 to 120 days in the past, and you can pinpoint some things that you quit doing, and now you're reaping the reward, or in this case, the punishment of that decision or those things that you quit doing. It took 90 to 120 days for those things to catch up to you. So let me give you an idea of what I mean. Let's say that you are a business person and you were, making 5 or 10 new contacts a day, and you were doing that consistent, and business really started going well. You were killing it. The next thing you know, you were making good money. Everything was going great, but then something came up and you got out of that habit. Well, your business didn't stop immediately, because if you've been contacting, 5 or 10 people a day, then you had a little bit of a Rolodex, if you will. You had some momentum built up. So if you can imagine, if you're driving down the road in a car and you're going 120 miles an hour and you let off the gas pedal, you don't just go from 120 to 0. You slow down, and after 10, 20 seconds, you're still probably going 80 or 90, which feels like it's going, pretty good. But before you know it, you're going 40 or 50, and then all the way down to 0 if you've let your foot off the gas. Well, so often in life, folks, the average people out there do not continue to do the things that got them the success. Most people let their foot off the gas when things start going really good. It's just a natural thing. And then what ends up happening is you're about 90 to 120 days away from all momentum gone and being stuck and feeling like nothing's working and wondering what in the world happened. And most people don't realize that it's their actions from 90 days ago that make up the results from today. In other words, it's the same thing in just about every industry. So I think you guys would understand, like with the gym. If you go to the gym consistently, in either direction, if you go to the gym, you start going to the gym today, you're not going to see results tomorrow. You're not going to even see results for, the first week or two, and even the first month or two. Most people will say that it's around 90 days of consistent effort going to the gym before you really start to notice a difference. That's part of the problem. And we're going to get to that on the success side. Is a lot of times success doesn't come quick enough. People go to the gym for 1 or 2 weeks. They don't feel like they're seeing results, so they quit. Same thing in business. You find a new business tactic. You find something that is supposed to help you in your business life. You do it for a couple of weeks, and because you're not seeing the results, you quit doing it. But let's go backwards. So let's say you've been going to the gym for a year or two and everything is going good. And then something happens and you're looking in the mirror and your muscles are looking good. And something happens and you decide, that you're going to take a few days off. You've earned it. And the next thing you know, you get out of those habits. And instead of going to the gym 5-6 days a week, you only go 3 days a week for the next couple of weeks. And then something comes up and you don't go at all. And now you're looking back, it's 90 days later and you're starting to feel kind of flabby, and you just had that Thanksgiving dinner and you've put about 10 pounds back on. And you don't realize that this is the result of choices that you made 90 days ago. So to clear this up, let me see if I can say this really, really smoothly. Your success and your failure right now is based on stuff that you were doing 90 days ago. So it's like, Ed Milet likens it to, if you're reading a newspaper headline, the headline in the newspaper today didn't happen today. It was something that happened 90 days ago. So everything in your life that you're experiencing, good or bad, is probably lagging about 90 days behind. So another example, folks, guys, is I am huge on reading good books. In my opinion, and you can write this down, every one of us should be reading at least 10 pages a day of a good nonfiction, positive, uplifting book that is either helping us create more skills in our life based on whatever business or results that we want to have. For those of us in cryptocurrency, maybe that could be, learning a new skill in cryptocurrency investing. Maybe that could be learning more about how to earn yield through DeFi. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but you should be reading a book for about 10 pages a day. You should be listening to some good audios. I've said this a million times. Turn your car and your gym time into drive time universities. I've found in my life that when I get away from working out, it's very detrimental to my listening to good podcasts, because when I'm working out, I love to listen to Ed Milet and Myron Golden and good podcasts. If something comes up that takes me away from working out and exercising, a lot of times I don't have time or just not in the mood to just sit here in front of a computer screen and just watch a video with everything else that's going on in my house. But I love to listen. When I'm in the car by myself, I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to good audios. And when I'm in the gym, I'm listening to good audios. But my point is, if you're doing those things, you're not gonna see the results for 90 days, folks. So just because you watch this video today and you decide to go, grab the book, Think and Grow Rich, or How to Win Friends and Influence People, or The Power of Positive Thinking, you go buy that book and you read 10 pages today. You're not going to see much of a difference. You read 10 pages again tomorrow, you're not going to see much of a difference. It takes a while, just like in the gym. You got to do it for a few months before you start seeing the results. These habits that you want to create in your life, it takes 90 days to get the momentum and to really start seeing the results. And what happens in life is most people, they don't realize that they're 90 days away from the success that they want to have. And in a lot of cases, unfortunately, with life, the negative things happen a lot of times 60 to 90 days later after you quit doing the things that you should be doing. You start seeing the negative results 60 to 90 days later. But with success, a lot of times it can take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years of doing the right things before you get all of the results. And that's part of the problem. That's why more people aren't successful. You see the negative fast. You quit going to the gym, 60, 90 days later, you're kind of back to out of shape, and where you had built up to being able to run a mile on the treadmill, now you're huffing and puffing going up a set of stairs. Doesn't take very long, 60 to 90 days, and you're back to where you were. But for the most part, if you really want a serious transformation in your physical life, you're probably a year or two away from it. You're going to get some results in 90 days, but you're not going to go, from 260 pounds to shredded and ripped and in great shape in 3 months. You can see some results, but it's probably going to take a year or two to really see the results that you want. Once again, on the flip side, you see the negative stuff happen much quicker. This also happens in business. Now, if you're an employee and you just kind of go in and you do your job for your 8 hours and you go home, this may or may not pertain to you as much. But if you're a business owner, or if you are in sales, if you're a realtor, or somebody that has KPIs, we call them, key performance indicators. So back when I was working with Ryan Pineda, selling real estate investment courses, one of the KPIs, the key performance indicator, was that I made at least 100 dials. So it was really easy. If you made your 100 dials every single day and talked like you were supposed to, you were going to have results. But what would happen is you could build up some pretty good momentum. And if you're calling 100 people a day, then what will happen is you're going to get some people that buy right then, but you're also going to start to build up this list of next week and 2 weeks from now, and maybe even a month from now. Now, what can happen, guys, is after a couple months of dialing this 100 numbers a day, you've got this pretty big people in the funnel, and you could literally start slacking and only dial 50 numbers or 25 numbers a day, and you could maintain the same number of sales that you were getting when you were dialing 100. But the catch is you could only maintain those sales for a little while, because you started getting to the next weeks and the people that were ready in 2 weeks and the people that were ready in a month. And sure enough, 30 to 60 days down the road, all of a sudden your sales plummeted. And when you went back and looked at why, it was because you quit doing the activity that made you so successful. And that happens in most areas of life. Eric Bernstein on here is an incredible realtor out in Colorado. And I'm sure that he could probably, he understands what I'm saying and would probably agree with it. He's probably had some times in his life where maybe he had some activities that he was doing on a daily basis, and it really caused him to kill it. It really caused him to build up a funnel of people that wanted to buy and sell houses. And maybe he's kept his foot on the pedal the whole time, but maybe, just maybe, something distracted him or caused him to get away from some of those things that he was doing that really caused his business to really go strong. And maybe he's experienced this where 60, 90 days down the road, things had kind of started to head back down, and he was wondering, what had happened. And I guarantee you, if Eric was to go back and look at what was different, if he went back, he probably would be able to see some things that he was doing 90 days ago that he had gotten away from. It had taken a little bit of time to catch up with him, but here he was 90, 120 days later, and he didn't have the same momentum, and he wasn't making as much money potentially as he was back when he was really hitting it hard and doing these things. So my point is, guys, if you are in a position right now where you're not happy about something that's going on in your life, whether it's health, a relationship, business, crypto, if you can pinpoint anything in your life that you really want to see some improvement in, what I'm trying to tell you is that you want to get started today, but you have to understand that you're not going to see the results for 90 to 120 days. And sometimes, depending on exactly what your goals are and what you're looking at, you might not really see the result for a year, 2 years down the road. And one of the other things that I think is super important, guys, is when you have done 90% of the effort that you need to in life to be successful with something, you normally are only going to see 25 to 50% of the results. And this is why it can be so hard to win in life, guys. You've done 90% of the work, but you're only looking, say, at 30% of the results. So let's just say that in this example, your goal was to make, $100,000 a year, and you had a plan to do it in whatever industry you were going to do it in. What I'm here to tell you is that you can go out and do 90% of the work to get to that $100,000 a year, and yet it's very realistic for you to only be at $25,000 to $50,000 worth of the income. And that can be pretty demoralizing if you don't understand that that's how life works. If you've done 90% of the work and you're only at $25,000, it feels like you're failing. It feels like it's not working. And most people give up. Most people give up way before then, because on the flip side, you can get to 50% of the work and only be at 10% of the results. And most people don't even make it past that point. So you do 50% of the work and you're only at 10 grand. Now you do 90% of the work and you're only at 25, 30, 35 grand. The magic, though, is in that last 10%, because what has happened is when you get to that 90% of the work, 90% to 99% of the other people that wanted to do what you're doing have quit. So you have separated yourself just by getting to that 90% mark. You've separated yourself and you have distanced yourself from 90 to 90%, 99% of the rest of the pack. And the magic, we all see it in crypto. We see it in just about everything, where you have that straight line and then boom, you have that upward trend. I'm telling you, that last 10% is going to get you 50 to 75% of the results. And you just have to keep doing it. You have to keep believing. You have to be, you have to keep plugging along. But if you want to know why so many people aren't successful, it's because the people that get to 50% and then see that they're only 10% of the way to their goal quit. And then the people that manage to keep on going and they get all the way to 90% of the work done, they look back and see that they're only 25 to 50% done, and they feel like they're failing and they quit again. And so I'm here to give you hope. If you're somewhere on that curve, if you're at that 50% mark and you're only at 10% of the results, keep going. If you've been crushing it for the last year or two and you're all the way to that 90% of the work, but only 25 to 50% of the results, keep going. That last 10% is going to be magical. So on that note, I'm going to shut up, take a quick drink of my coffee. The main thing to take away from the last handful of minutes is, when you start new habits, expect that your results are going to come 90 to 120 days later. It happens all the time with a lot of different things. Like I see it here with Texit Coin. I know I bring Texit Coin up a lot, but it's a really good example. You have people jump into Texit Coin, they get a miner or two, and then they want to go share the referral program. They're excited about it. They want to help their friends, their family, their neighbors get these miners, because they see the passive income that's coming in and they're excited about it. Well, what will happen is most of them won't make it through the 90 days. Most people will go talk to 3 to 5 people, and if they don't get any positive responses, they quit. That would be similar to going to the gym for 3 to 5 days after not working out for, 6 months or a year or ever, and expecting miraculous results. You got to remember that most people that jump into a business like Texacoin, for a lot of people, they don't have any experience at all in this type of business. So when they go do a little bit of activity for a week or two and don't have success and then they quit, it's kind of asinine. It's pretty ridiculous for anybody that's never had any experience in business, that's never owned a business, it's never, went out and actually shared something with someone, to feel like they're going to have the skills and the ability to just be successful immediately. There's a little bit of a learning curve. Now, we do have a system in Texacoin that makes it very easy where you can just share videos with people, but it still takes a little bit of time. But my point is, in that type of a business, what you'll see a lot is somebody will start doing the work. They'll start talking to people. They'll start sharing it. And they understand that it's going to take a while. So, they get 5 or 10 people talked to, and then they realize, hey, I just need to talk to more people. So then they get 20, 30, 40, 50 people talked to, and all of a sudden they start having some results. All of a sudden people start coming in and joining them in this mission. 60 days, 90 days in, they're really having some tremendous success. And they don't realize that the reason they're having success 90 days in is because of all of that work they did in the first 30 days. All of those people that they talked to in the first 30 days that are starting to see the price increase and that are starting to see the vision, that, that are starting to get interested, because not everybody is going to be ready to go the day that you talk to them. All of that work that they did in the first 30 days is why they're having success on day 90, but they don't realize that. And what happens is they start to have some momentum, things start to go good, and then guess what they do? They quit talking to people. They don't realize that it's you have to continue to put people at the top of a funnel. Imagine a funnel that starts off like this, and then it goes all the way down real thin. Well, in most businesses and opportunities, you're putting people into the funnel way up here, and then it takes a while for them to funnel down, and you lose people in the funnel. A lot of people will jump out of the funnel towards the top, and then maybe some people will jump out in the middle. And then when you get to the bottom of the funnel, that's where you get the success. That's where you get the people that are still interested in like what they see, and they decide to jump in. Well, what most people do is when the people get to the bottom of the funnel and they start jumping in, most people forget to keep putting new people at the top of the funnel, because it's the same thing like I mentioned. If you build up a bunch of momentum and you got a bunch of people that are looking at this, that are, like in the Ryan Pineda example, you're a month, they got some that are 2 weeks, a month out. That's why they're having this success. But if you quit putting people at the top of the funnel, 60 to 90 days later, you're going to have a stagnant business that isn't going anywhere, and you wonder why. And once again, took you 60 to 90 days to build the momentum. And as soon as you quit doing the right activities, it's going to take another 60 to 90 days for the momentum to dissipate and for you to be feeling like you're stuck and you don't know why. So I said it 19 different ways. That's one of my weaknesses. I know that I say the same thing over and over and over in different ways. I think it's a habit that I learned from my dad. I actually, my mom and my dad, I love them both to death. They're no longer with us, but the reason I probably explain things multiple ways is my mom, God bless her. I'm not trying to say anything bad about my mom, but my mom was a very quiet person. And when her and my father would get into an argument, if you will, my dad would try to explain his point of view, and my mom would just sit there and never give any feedback. And so I saw it in my dad where he would say something one way, and because he never really got any feedback, he would then say the same thing in a different way. And he would do it like 3 or 4 times. He would say the same thing basically in a different way, though, trying to get to get a reaction out of my mom. And I think that's where I got this silly habit of kind of beating a horse to death. So I apologize to that, because it all just comes down to understanding that you are 60 to 90 days away from being totally stuck and feeling like there's no momentum, things aren't going in the direction of your life. You're 60 to 90 days away once you stop doing the things that got you the success. On the flip side, you're also 60 to 90 days before you start to see some results on the positive side, and it could take 6 months, 1 year, even 2 years. So I just want you guys to be aware of that and be ready and understand that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. 45 minutes later. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was separation season. And so we're going to switch gears and run over here to this view real quick. I did want to mention really fast, I've got old CoinGecko pulled up. We got Bitcoin at 84,659. I want to say it was at 90 or 91 the last time we talked. So that could be frustrating, guys. This isn't really the crypto day, but we're going to talk about this more tomorrow on the trading live stream. But what's going to happen next with crypto, man? It's a really interesting situation. I really thought that we were hopefully on the path back up to 100,000 and more. And now here we are at 84,000, and we really have to be somewhat cautious and aware that we could drop down into the 70s, guys. I don't know for sure which way we're going to head, but I feel like we are in a precarious situation, and we could very well head down into the 70s. I'm not going to be surprised if we jump back up into the high 80s and the low 90s either, though. But man, what a tumultuous time to be alive in crypto. What a volatile time. Now, I will say this. I just found out today, I haven't had a chance to confirm it, but one of my friends that owns a lot of Polkadot and Atom tokens on Coinbase was telling me that Coinbase recently is allowing you to earn interest on some of those tokens without actually staking them. So normally when you buy Polkadot, you have to stake it, and there's normally around a 21 to 30 day unstaking period. So if you've got 1,000 Polkadot on the platform staked and you decide Polkadot's going up, you want to sell some Polkadot, you have to unstake it normally and wait 21 to 30 days for it to be liquid. Right now, it sounds like Coinbase is not doing that. Once again, I haven't confirmed it, so don't take this as gold, but definitely do some research and do some due diligence on that, because I believe that Polkadot and Atom are both way, way, way down, and having the ability to buy them at these really low prices and earn anywhere from 10 to 15% interest on them could be a very good way to weather this storm. Just buy and hold and earn 10 to 15% interest. And with no staking, if we do have a massive, upswing, we have a big reversal, you don't have to worry about the liquidity. You'd be able to sell your tokens if all of a sudden they ran up to $4, $6, $8, $10. You wouldn't have that 21-day waiting period. So if anybody else has already checked into that or heard that and confirm or deny that, great. Let us know in the chat. Once this live stream is over, I'm going to check it out, because I literally got this information from him about 2 minutes before I went live. So I haven't had a chance to confirm it. But let's get on to the other thing that I wanted to talk about today, and that was separation season. So what is separation season? Let me share this tab here and then make sure that we are on the tab. I apologize for the white, but I know that can be a little bit blinding, but I wanted to share separation season. What is separation season? Separation season can refer to a period of intentional personal growth and deliberate distancing from old habits and negative influences, often occurring around the end of the year to build momentum for the new year. And so, guys, what I wanted to mention is early in the video, I talked about how right now, most of the world is kind of turned off. They're disengaged. They're thinking about starting back up the first of the year. Right now is separation season. Do you realize that if your competition just kind of floats through this month and they're worried about Christmas and buying presents and they're not prospecting, they're not working, they're at a fraction of their capacity, they're just basically checked out. That happens so much this time of the year. Do you realize that a month of your competition being checked out and disengaged versus you putting the pedal to the metal and working 2 or 3 times as hard as you normally do, what kind of separation that can create going into 2026? You can literally, in this next 30-day period of time, you can literally separate yourself so far from the competition by the time 2026 rolls around that no matter how hard they work in 2026, they can't catch up. So my suggestion to you guys is don't wait for January 1st to start putting your goals and your dreams and your life together. Don't wait until 2026 to put the pedal to the metal. Right now, get back into the gym. Build up a month's worth of momentum while everybody else is waiting to, for their New Year's resolution to be that they're going to get into the best shape that they've been in 26. Not you. You decide after this video that you're going to the gym today. Winners say right now, losers say tomorrow. Anytime you are thinking about doing something positive in your life and you say, hey, I'm going to start doing that tomorrow, you've already lost the battle. Today, right now, hey, I'm going to quit eating sweets tomorrow. You've lost. If you go eat the sweets today thinking that you're going to quit eating them tomorrow, forget about it. Do it now. Start now. And this is really about business. So while I think that's an important point for getting healthy, right now, I'm telling you guys, right now is separation season in business. If you put the pedal to the metal and don't go, I hear all the time, especially like Texitcoin, I hear this all the time. Oh, nobody's got $1,000. We're getting close to the holidays and everybody's thinking about Christmas. Baloney. I had dozens of people buy miners last week. There's lots of people out there with $1,000 and $5,000 and $10,000. That's just a story that you're telling yourself. And if you are the type of person that just disengages and doesn't do anything in December, then it's easy for you to believe that lie. I'm here to tell you that if you get, I love this saying. Somebody, I don't remember where I heard it the first time, but it basically goes like this. People will come from miles around to watch somebody burn. So you want to get so excited about your goals and your dreams and whatever it is that's important to you that you attract people to you, because most people are disengaged. Guess what? If you want to sell a house right now, probably a little bit harder to find a realtor that's really excited about working with you, because a lot of people want to take this month off. They want to enjoy their family. They want to do this. They want to do that. And if that's you, that's fine. I'm not talking to people that just want to live an average life here. I'm talking to people that want to live an extraordinary life. So if I'm talking and you're like, hey, I just want to lay around and enjoy Christmas and enjoy doing nothing in December, no problem. Hit the stop button, go start relaxing. You don't need to watch, the rest of this video. But if you want to have an extraordinary life, I'm telling you, one of the ways that you can separate yourself in whatever field you're in is by acting like Christmas doesn't exist. And I'm not telling you to not go buy your kids Christmas presents. You still can go buy the Christmas presents in the evening. You can still do everything. But I'm here to tell you that most people are not in the right mind space when they're at work right now, when they're building their businesses right now. They're just kind of halving it, because there is a big part of the population. You're right. Like, if I was to tell you that it's just as easy to sell Texas coin miners this month as it is any other month of the year, I'd be lying to you. You're right. There are going to be some people that tell you, hey, it's Christmas, and if I got to choose between buying a Texas coin miner and buying presents for my kids, I'm going to go with the kids. And that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that if you also believe that there is a part of the population that has the money to do both, and that there's a part of the population that wants to be extraordinary like we do, those people that want to be extraordinary are happy to get their money invested into the right places. So for most of you, what are you going to do this month with your money while crypto is beaten down? Are you gonna figure out a way to take advantage of some of these incredible prices? I mean, we got Polkadot at under $2. I cannot imagine being able to, buy Polkadot at under $2. I think that Atom token is, around 2.25 or something like that. Could things go down lower? Absolutely. My point is, don't take December off and just say that you're going to re-engage with your life and the things that your goals and your dreams come January 1st. If you really take the next 30 days and you put the pedal to the metal, I promise you, you're going to set yourself up for a 2026 that is unbelievable. And you can almost glide through 2026 to a certain extent compared to the people that just decided to think about Christmas, think about nothing but doing nothing here in December. So let me see here. Before we hop off of here, I just wanted to say hi to everybody again and thank you all for watching. Good morning, good afternoon, Tim. I see you jumped in. Good to see you, Tim. And, once again, to all of you that were here today, I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Hopefully, some of the things that I said today will help at least a few of you that are on this call to have a better December and an incredible 2026. So with that, folks, I'm going to hop off of here. Grab some hot chocolate. It's about, 20 degrees here in Colorado Springs. It snowed yesterday. Literally, my wife and I were leaving the hotel room to go have dinner at a nice steak place. And we come outside and there's snow everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not going to go driving around in a strange area. And so instead of having a nice steak, we ordered some gluten-free pizza crust pizza, and we just stayed at the hotel. The roads have cleared up a little bit. We were able to go get my morning coffee. So we got our caffeine. But anyways, there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of great things that we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to let you guys go crush Monday. I'm going to go, have a fantastic Monday myself. And I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning on the Tuesday Trader live stream. See where Bitcoin is at, see what the markets are looking like, and show you the trades from last week. A little bit of a spoiler is by doing the 3x leverage on the two trades that I did last week on Avalanche and Link, they're both still in play. They're both underwater, but they didn't get liquidated. So that's good news that we still have those trades in play. So I'm going to do some research on the market today. I'm going to listen to some crypto lifer, some Sammy Price, and a couple other people that I really respect in the industry, and try to get a good idea for what I think is happening next so that we can have an incredible Tuesday Trader live stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So in between now and then, have a fantastic day. God bless you all, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye for now.